Now, I don't know about you, but I love beauty. I love trying new makeup looks. I love finding a product that works so well for me and that really fills a specific gap in my makeup or skincare routine. But beauty can add up. And there are just so many beauty brands and so many products. How are you supposed to know which beauty products are worth the price, especially in a world where everything is so expensive right now? Well, luckily for you, I am a beauty content creator and I test dozens of new products each month for work. And today I decided I wanted to round up some of my affordable beauty favorites. And every product that I'm going to mention in this episode today is under $25 because it should not have to cost a fortune to look cute and feel good. Before we get into discussing some beauty products, let's do a little create and consume, which, if you're new here, A, that's the name of the podcast you're listening to, and B, it's a little segment I like to do at the top of each episode to share what I'm creating and consuming each week, because there's literally never a time where I am not doing both of those things. And I also love hearing from you, so be sure to let me know what you are creating and consuming as well. Leave a comment if you're watching this episode on YouTube. You can also leave comments on Spotify now. How exciting. Or feel free to hit us up at Create and Consume Pod on Instagram or TikTok. Now, as far as what I am creating this week, I'm actually recording this episode in advance. So by the time you're listening to this, I should be somewhere in Tuscany on my third glass of Chianti with the sun in my face, wearing a beautiful dress, and just feeling so lucky and grateful to be in one of the most beautiful places in the whole world. Andrew and I are in Italy at the time you're listening for my friend Nora's wedding, and we decided to stay and make a trip out of it afterwards as well. So we will be back this next coming week, and I'm sure I will have plenty to tell you. We could do a whole little Italy trip recap. So what I'm about to tell you that I'm creating this week is the current week that I'm living in, not actually the week that you are listening to this, because I don't know what I'm going to be creating next week, although I am planning to vlog the Italy trip. So be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is just my name, Austen Tosone, so you don't miss out on that. But this past weekend, I went to the Avril Lavigne concert with one of my best friends from high school, Alexa, and I'm so glad that she texted me at the start of the year about this. This was actually Avril's first time headlining at Madison Square Garden, which is kind of crazy. You think she would have maybe done that, but no. So this was for her greatest hits tour, which it sounds like she also did this last summer, and then it continued on into this year. Her openers were We the King and Simple Plan, which was an added bonus in and of itself. I was not even thinking of that when we booked the tickets, and when we got there and I saw who the openers were, I was just like, this is amazing. I decided to take advantage of us attending the concert to create some fun reels, so I will link both of them in the show notes in case you'd like to go watch them and check them out. But the first reel that I did was an outfit transition, lip syncing to the song What the Hell. Pretty proud of how that one turned out, especially when you hit the right timing on a transition like that. It's just so smooth and satisfying, and I'm really proud of not only my outfit, which I literally just shopped my closet and stole a tie from Andrew, which I think is hanging on that chair back there. You might be able to see. But yeah, this was one of those situations where I knew I had something in my closet. So I decided to film this fun little outfit transition from me just in a sweatshirt, and my hair in a messy ponytail to my hair perfectly pinned straight, my black eyeliner, and my concert outfit, which was a tank top, a tie, and cargo pants. And then once we were at Madison Square Garden, we also filmed a TikTok that I actually got this idea from my friend Caitlin, who went to the Charlie XCX concert in Chicago. So she had done a TikTok with her friend where they were lip syncing parts of the song of one of Charlie's songs, and then they actually finished the reel at the concert. So that's basically what we did as well. We started to sing the beginning of the lead into the chorus of Girlfriend by Avril Lavigne. So I filmed the part that goes she's like, so whatever. And then Lex did, and you could do so much better. And then we both did, I think you should get together now. But then I stitched it with when Avril was on stage at the concert of her finishing it and saying, and that's what everyone's talking about. Apologies for my morning singing. I'm also chugging a cup of coffee right here because I have a busy couple of days ahead of me before I head out for my trip, which I am just going to feel so good and relaxed. I know once we're there, but I just want to make sure I get everything done before I go, so you guys are well stocked on weekly content and not missing a thing. But yes, so I'm super proud of both of those reels. I feel like that also, if you're not a content creator, but you've ever thought to yourself, could I do content creation? I feel like making reels around a concert, especially post Eras tour, is such an easy way to kind of dip your toes into the content creation world. Because if the content, like, for some reason flops or you're not that happy with it, then it's just like, oh, well, at least I tried and like I did it because I was going to this concert anyway and it's not that big of a deal. I don't know. I was just thinking about that because obviously ahead of the Eras tour, I did a similar type of content and I did some transitions for both my glam and my outfit. Anyway, and then as far as what I've been consuming this week, I have a new YouTuber who I'm currently obsessed with. And some of you probably already know her. She has over 1 million subscribers, but her name is Tara Michelle. And my friend Floor actually recommended her to me because I feel like I'm just always I'm always looking for new vloggers to watch, is what I'm trying to say here. Or drink this coffee faster. She recommended her to me, and I just started following her a few weeks ago. She mainly vlogs from her home, which is in Toronto, but I didn't even know this when I started following her. She and her family were planning this like 10-day trip in Tuscany and Florence, which is essentially what Andrew and I are doing for Nora's wedding. So I've watched her first two vlogs. I'll just link the first one in the show notes if you want to go check it out. And I really like this girl. Like, I kind of feel like we're friends, which that always is the trippy part about YouTube to me and parasocial relationships in general, is there are so many people I've convinced myself are fully my friends because it feels like I know them so well and I know like everything they've been up to for the last month. Whereas like some of my real life best friends couldn't tell you what they've spent the last month doing. But like this girl, I know all of her current weeknight meal routines. Like I know which workout classes she's been to. So yeah, YouTube and content creation is just funny in that way. All of that to say that I have really been loving her Italy vlogs and I look forward to making my own when we get back. Okay, I feel like I yapped for a little longer than usual about create and consume. So let's get into the main topic of the episode. And we were talking about this a few episodes back. I did an episode called The Hot Girl's Guide to Surviving the Recession, so I can link that in the show notes if you missed that one. But just I keep running into situations just as a person where I keep realizing how expensive everything is. And given the state of the economy, I want to make sure that I am not just like promoting products that I'm being sent by brands, which as part of my job, I very kindly receive PR from brands, which is one of the reasons I am able to test so many beauty products and why I have so many beauty products from such amazing brands in the first place. So I just wanted to preface by saying the amount of beauty products that I have is not normal. And I'm very aware of that. If it were up to me and my own wallet, I would probably have a third or less of what I actually have here with me. However, because I test and try so many products for work, I feel like that makes me the guinea pig and the right person to be able to give you recommendations for pretty much like every touch point of a skincare routine or a makeup routine, which is exactly what we're going to do today. And then another thing that kind of served as the catalyst for this episode that I was watching recently was my content creator friend. Her name is Abby the Badass Mom, and I've met her at a couple of events in New York City and we follow each other. She does a ton of beauty content. I definitely would suggest looking her up on TikTok, but I wanted to specifically link in the show notes her videos where she has been checking out the prices of beauty products post tariffs to see if they've been increasing and how much they've been increasing, given that beauty is part of the global economy. It is a corner of the globe, if you will. It is, being impacted. It's not immune to what is happening out in the world as far as the economy goes. So Abby has actually been referring back to some of her older videos about the price of beauty, and she has been making note of any changes and increases in the pricing. And honestly, she is doing some important work over there. So please go check her out, support her content. And it's also been just an interesting time in beauty as well, because there haven't been too many mergers and acquisitions this year on the beauty front. Although at the time I'm recording this, it was just announced last week that Hailey Bieber's Rhode brand is being acquired by e.l.f. for $1 billion. That is one big unicorn. The conversation and dialogue about this has taken a life of its own, particularly on my Threads feed. I don't know if any of you can relate to that, but I do want to do an episode at some point talking about, like, I don't know the title for sure yet. It's going to be something like There Are Only 8 Beauty Companies or something to that effect, to talk about who owns what when it comes to beauty and how all of those things work, why a big beauty company has certain brand portfolios and certain brands underneath it. I also just think it's so crazy that Rhode, for context, launched in 2021. Glossier launched in what, 2015 or 16? And they are on like their Series E funding. They have not been acquired and they have not put out an IPO. So, anyway, if you're interested in an episode about like the beauty industry and the structuring of everything, please let me know. But now let's get into some affordable beauty favorites, $25 and under. And we'll start with makeup and then we can move on to skincare. I only have like two hair favorites at the end, so that'll be a very quick wrap up. And I tried to do this almost like in the order that I apply products, so we'll see how far we get with that. To start out with the base of your face, LOL, did not mean for that to rhyme. I wanted to first talk about skin tints, and I have a question for everyone because as I was making this list, I could not think of a single foundation that I love under $25. So if you have a favorite from the drugstore or even like a direct to consumer indie brand, please let me know what it is because I got nothing for you on the foundation front. I feel like that is one of those products I typically do spend a little more on. However, I do have two skin tints to recommend, and sometimes I feel like a skin tint is even better than a foundation, especially in the summer months, especially when you're already going to be sweaty and whatnot anyway. So the first one is the CoverGirl Simply Ageless Skin Perfector. This is a product I bought myself after being influenced with viral videos on TikTok talking about how amazing this product was. And based on the name, CoverGirl Simply Ageless Skin Perfector, I feel like that does not tell you what it is. I essentially consider this to be a skin tint. It comes in a little pump bottle, and you really don't need a lot of it. I find it to be really helpful just in terms of color correcting and being super lightweight coverage. So this is not what you want if you need a full coverage day, but I really do like it for summer. I actually am out of mine currently, so I might need to either hit up CoverGirl because they are a brand that very kindly gives me products, or honestly, even just go purchase it myself because it's under $25 at the drugstore. And then on a similar note to that, I also wanted to shout out the e.l.f. Halo Glow. So this is also, it's a little bit less coverage than a skin tint, but honestly, it does still provide some coverage. I would say it's a little bit thicker than the CoverGirl Simply Ageless Skin Perfector. A lot of people compare this product to the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I have tried that product as well, and I guess I would say that they're a pretty similar comparison. I have not taken a close look at the ingredient list, so I can't say for sure if it is exactly the D word. However, I do really like this product, again, especially in the summer months when you want to have a foundation-free day but still get a little bit of coverage and even out the skin tone. Absolutely love that one. And it comes with a really thick doe foot applicator, so I would keep that in mind if you prefer that over the pump of more of a typical foundation, which is the CoverGirl one. Okay, when it comes to concealer, I have two recommendations. My first is the Tower 28 Serum Concealer. This product is one of my all-time favorites, and I am so glad that it fits in this affordable beauty category because I feel like this will be a forever repurchase for me. So I currently use the shade Downtown LA. Someone on TikTok commented and thinks that I need a lighter shade, so maybe I would try, I think that's the fourth lightest shade, so maybe I would try the third lightest shade of that. But the formula of this is just so nice. I feel like it works well for pretty much all skin types. And I should have said at the beginning of this episode, by the way, that my skin is pretty much normal to dry. So if anything, I'm a little bit more on the dry side. I just don't get super oily unless, it's summer and I'm sweating. I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. However, again, I feel like because this concealer actually does have serum in it, it's not going to be too thick or creamy if you do have oily skin. I just feel like it blends out so nicely. Oh, and I've also been using the IT Cosmetics concealer brush. It is kind of angled a little bit, and it's just a really small pointed brush. I have been absolutely loving that. Like, I live and die by the Real Techniques beauty sponges, which I didn't even mention on here, but those are definitely affordable, and you can get like a 4-pack for under $25. But there's something about this concealer brush that's just like really doing it for me lately. And then another good drugstore option is the CoverGirl True Blend Concealer. So I really like this formula. I feel like I've never found the correct shade for myself. So maybe that's another thing that I can request from the CoverGirl team at some point. But that is a really nice like baseline drugstore formula that I feel like is very reliable. Okay, moving on to bronzer slash contour. I have a cream and a powder option slash suggestion for you. So for my cream product, I would suggest the Milk Makeup Matte Cream Bronzer Stick. And you've probably seen these before. They literally look like a little stick, so you can either draw on or dot on the product and blend it out with a brush. Now, my only slight downside to this product is the shade range. So there are only 5 shades available of this product. However, I do feel like they are wide enough apart on the spectrum where hopefully you can find something that works for you. This is just one of those products that I feel like lasts forever. They also make little mini travel sized versions of these, but to clarify, it's the full size that I'm talking about. That's under $25, which is great. And I just feel like it blends out so nicely and it's kind of hard to mess up in a sense, which when it comes to bronzer, that's all I care about. Because if you do bronzer wrong, it's very obvious. And then for powder, I wanted to recommend the Maybelline City Bronzer. I had whatever the lightest shade was, but I absolutely love this one, especially with a stippled brush to kind of just brush on top of whatever your cream contour was or just wear on its own. It's honestly so pretty and I feel like the pigmentation was really good and I never really had issues with fallout or anything like that. Moving on to talk about blush. So one blush that I have been absolutely loving lately is the Tower 28 Get Set blush. So this is a powder blush and what I really like about it is that it's actually formulated based on their Get Set setting powder. So founder Amy Liu wanted to know if their setting powder formula could hold color because otherwise it's a translucent setting powder and they were able to experiment with it and saw that it could. So they came out with this blush earlier this year. I did attend the launch event for this in New York. For that one, I actually did a whole YouTube review, which is something I haven't done in a while. So you can actually see me swatch all of the shades, try them out, and talk about the product more in depth. So I can leave that linked in the show notes as well. But I think I'm most obsessed with the shade Samo Spritzer. I'm actually wearing it today, but I'm wearing it layered on top of another blush. So I feel like this is not maybe the best representation of the color. I was trying to do a little trial run of what I think my makeup is going to be for Nora's wedding, but obviously you can check over on Instagram to see how that turned out. I really like the colors that they came out with, and I really like this blush formula for summer. My one downside to this product is the packaging. It doesn't feel quite as luxe or secure as I don't know, like the Rare Beauty Soft Pinch blush does. But again, maybe that's one of the reasons why it's under $25. So as long as you're kind of careful with that, I did feel like the tin could have maybe popped out at a certain point, although it hasn't happened to me yet. Just something to be mindful of and just something I wanted to make sure to mention. And then the other blush I wanted to suggest is the CoverGirl True Blend blush. Again, this is just such a tried and true drugstore favorite. There are a couple of different shades to choose from on this front too. And I rarely have issues with fallout. I feel like it blends really nicely onto the skin. And honestly, sometimes that's all you need. I have good news for you when it comes to brows. We actually have a lot of options to discuss here. So first up, I wanted to mention the newest addition to my brow collection, which is the Pixie 2-in-1 Brow Duo, I guess it's called. I can provide links obviously in the show notes and also for the blog post that goes along with this episode. And I was actually sent all 4 shades of this product by the brand. And it turns out, I think that the soft black shade, which is the darkest shade, actually works the best for me. If you're watching on YouTube, or just also if you know what I look like, you know that I have dark brown hair, eyes, and eyebrows. So brown is one of the colors when I got my color season done, as I've learned at this point. And I feel like the thing about brown is unless the shade of it matches exactly, you can kind of tell. And most other brown brow products, that was kind of a tongue twister, end up being more warm on me. And I feel like it stands out more. Whereas actually, I think my brows are a bit more cool toned. So the soft black actually is the right shade for me. I've decided. I did post a little reel where I was showing the difference between deep brunette and soft black, and I actually asked people to tell me what they thought. So if you need a visual for that one, I will link it in the show notes. Okay, also, CoverGirl Clean Fresh Brow Gel. I have this one in the clear, and I absolutely love it. I would just say for all clear brow gels, make sure that you really take the excess product off of the brush just by rubbing it against the little opening of the tube. This prevents any kind of clear flakes that you might see if you're applying too much product to your brows. On a similar note, for that really laminated brow look, I absolutely love the Milk Makeup Kush Brow Gel that I also get in the shade clear. And I feel like that one's just kind of a no-brainer. And then I've also been trying some products from Lawless Beauty, and I really like everything I've tried so far. I did get their Shape Up Brow Pencil. I got it in the shade Pecan, I want to say. And that one, again, like I think it's a little bit more on the brown side compared to black, but it's such a deeper, more neutral brown that I feel like it actually suits my brows more. So I've been pretty happy with that lately. Okay, when it comes to eyeshadow primers, I think I've talked about this before, but I actually did a whole story for Birdie a while back where I tested 15 different eyeshadow primers and I only wrote about the top 6 that I tried. And for me, these were the top 2 of the top 6. So the first one that I would recommend just for like general everyday wear is the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Eye Primer. So this is different than the Hydro Grip Face Primer, although I do like that one as well. And the cool thing about this one is it has 2 use cases. So you can use it on your eyelids to prime eyeshadow, but you can also use it underneath your eyes to prime concealer. So if you find that you get creasing when you apply concealer, I feel like you won't if you use the Tower 28 one I mentioned before. But if you've ever noticed that being a problem for you, try priming under your eyelids to see if that makes a difference. Really do love that one, and that's a clear formula. That one's hard to mess up. And then the other one I wanted to recommend is the Wet n Wild Mega Last eyeshadow primer. That one has a bit of a tint to it, so I feel like that is better if you're working with a really pigmented eyeshadow that you want to stay and you really want to like increase the vibrancy of the color. That one is a drugstore find. It's definitely a little bit thicker, so you want to make sure you blend it out nicely, but I feel like it lasts all day. It's great for like special events, weddings, things like that where you need your makeup to last. Okay, when it comes to eyeshadow, I'm like a little bit all over the place here because I used to be someone who would do a full powder palette eyeshadow look every single day, and I feel like lately I've just been the absolute laziest. So if you're feeling lazy, my 2 recommendations are both eyeshadow sticks. So first, I would say the CoverGirl eyeshadow sticks. I have just loved every single one of these that I've tried. I feel like the shades that they came out with are absolutely stunning. My favorite one, I think, is called Ballerina Blush. I believe I also have Sunrise Beam, and then I have another one called Bronze Glow that I like for when I need a little bit more depth or something to my look. And then on a similar note, I also do really like the Julep Beauty eyeshadow sticks. Both of these to me are super creamy and they just glide on, and it's really great for when you just want to swipe on a little bit of color and get going and you don't want to be sitting there fussing with your eyeshadow for such a long time. Typically for those also, I apply them directly and then I use my ring finger to kind of just like tap out the edge and blend it out, or you can also use a brush to blend out the edges. Okay, and then when it comes to eyeshadow palettes, if you're looking for good quality palettes that are under $25, I honestly could have come up with some specific recommendations, but more than anything, I just wanted to recommend 3 brands where I have been really happy with the quality of the eyeshadows, because I've noticed this is one of the things that I tend to gravitate towards the more like high end products, for lack of a better word, even like the Urban Decay palettes or like the Makeup by Mario Master Mattes palette that I have. Huda Beauty also makes beautiful palettes, but all of those are above the price range we're talking about today. So the first one that is more affordable is Morphe. And I believe you can get Morphe at Ulta Beauty now as well. Honestly, I have 2 or maybe even 3 Morphe palettes, and I love all of them. I have one with more purpley and dark shades. I have one that has more pink shades, and then I have one that has more nude shades. And you get so much for the value, and I feel like the product is also good. I don't think you sacrifice quality by going for the cheaper price point with these. And they have so many different palettes, so many different options. It's hard to not find one that works for you. Another drugstore brand that I trust wholeheartedly when it comes to pigmented eyeshadows is Wet n Wild. And I feel like my biggest issue with the drugstore eyeshadows is generally just the fallout and that they can be a little bit messy and harder to work with compared to some of the creamier powder formulas that I notice I get when I go to like Sephora. But Wet n Wild has never let me down before. Like, if you're in a pinch, and this has actually happened to me before, we were in Rhode Island for my brother-in-law's wedding in 2021, and I just like didn't bring any eyeshadow. So I went to CVS, and the first place I went was like making a beeline for the Wet n Wild section because I knew whatever colors were there that I was going to get a good quality formula. So I would definitely recommend them as well. And then my third rec is ColourPop. I believe this is a British brand because of the U in color. And I have a ColourPop eyeshadow palette that I got a while back, and I absolutely love that one. They also make great glitter shades, which I feel like is really hard to find a good glitter shade at a drugstore price point. So yeah, Morphe, Wet n Wild, ColourPop. Definitely head to those 3 if you're looking for affordable eyeshadow palettes. Okay, moving on to eyeliner. I currently only have one suggestion, and I have to shout out my friend Emily for reminding me that I actually owned this in the first place, and that is the Rare Beauty liquid eyeliner. This one is $21, and I know you can get cheaper ones at the drugstore as well. I've even heard that the Sephora collection black liquid liner is apparently really good. However, I have noticed a bunch of drugstore eyeliners kind of crapping out on me lately, or drying out really fast, or applying weirdly. I've really been liking brown eyeliners lately, and I do have some pencil products that I like, but I don't love. And when it comes to the liquid eyeliners, though, I just feel like they are drying up or applying in the weirdest ways right now. I'm pretty sure I got the Maybelline Tattoo Studio brown eyeliner, and I feel like it's already done, and I just bought that recently. Like, I know I have not been into brown eyeliner for that long, so it has not been that long since I had that product, and I feel like it is already letting me down. So that's why I'm going to direct you towards the Rare Beauty one, because I did buy that a while back, but I'm wearing it today, and I feel like it looks pretty good still. Okay, moving on to mascara. I really like the L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara. I feel like that is one of my go-to mascaras that I have purchased time and time again from the drugstore. I feel like it's a little similar to the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, which would definitely be one of my recommendations if we were talking about Sephora today, but we're not. So check out L'Oreal Lash Paradise. And on a similar note, I've really been liking the CoverGirl, I think it's the 3D Eye Enhancer mascara. First of all, prettiest drugstore packaging. It literally looks like an ombre sunset. It goes from like pink to orange to purple. It is so stunning. They did not have to go that hard with the packaging for this drugstore mascara, but they did. And this one has a curved, almost like little U-shape or rainbow-shaped brush. And for some reason, I just feel like that is getting every single lash. And I have it in intense black, which I'm wearing today. And then I also have it in black brown, which I've been liking as well for lighter makeup days. That one is, oh my gosh, it is so great. I am really, really glad that I discovered that one. Okay, now when it comes to powder, again, I have a lot of powders that I love that were just like a little bit above this price point. But once again, when I'm thinking about drugstore brands and I go back to Old Reliable, that is where I remembered the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Loose Setting Powder exists. I have used this in the past before. I don't currently own it, but I would pick it up again because I know that it's going to work well. I like the Wet n Wild Photo Focus line a lot because it's supposed to make sure that it, prevents flashback and that you look good, especially if you are going to be on camera or getting your picture taken. Again, kind of thinking about like special events or, every day if you're me. And we love that. I was having a hard time coming up with a drugstore setting spray, I'm going to be honest, because I am in love with like the One Size setting spray and the Charlotte Tilbury one. And then I remembered Pixie, and I absolutely love the Pixie setting spray. I use the Vitamin Wake Up Mist setting spray. This one actually has vitamin C in it, so I feel like it kind of brightens a little bit too while it is securing the makeup and locking it in. And as an added bonus, I really like using this spray to spray my blush. No, not blush, Austen, brush. BRUSH, not BLUSH. I really like using it to spray my brushes, especially before applying like a cream blush or something, to just give it a little bit of softness and make it easier to blend those products. Okay, let's discuss lip liners. Now, because of the price point and because of what a lip liner is, we had a couple of favorites that were able to sneak under this $25 mark, thank God. The first one I'm going to recommend is the Makeup Forever Wherever Walnut. This is a purchase I made a couple of months ago from the Sephora sale because it is one of the most widely recommended lip liners out of pretty much anything else I can think of on the internet. And I got it in Wherever Walnut, if I didn't say that already. And I really like that one. It's such a good neutral. And I feel like the tip also stays pointy for a long time, like as I'm sharpening it, obviously. But before, I was trying to sharpen my Charlotte Tilbury lip liner to do the makeup look that I have on now. And I was sharpening it for quite a while, and the tip was not getting pointy. And I was like, but what is the point of a sharpener if not to sharpen? And I haven't had that issue yet with the Makeup Forever one, so I love that. I have also tried the Lawless Forget the Filter Definer Liner, and I got this one in Nude Honey. It's actually a little bit darker than the Wherever Walnut. I think it was a little bit darker than what I was anticipating, but if I ever did more of a pigmented, deeper nude lip, I would definitely be reaching for that one. And then the other one is Glossier Lip Line, and I believe I have the shade Hold, which is like a baby pink one that I'm using the most. And then I think I also have Grip as well, which is more of like a cool rosy shade. shade. Really like those as well. Okay, moving on to discuss lip gloss slash oil slash balm. I kind of put all three of these in the same category because they are all basically like my lip topper coat in a sense. I just tried the Summer Fridays Dream Lip Oil for the first time, and I'm obsessed with this formula. It is not sticky at all. I feel like it goes on so nicely. I love the packaging. I love the doe foot applicator. And I have all four shades. And, like when I get sent multiple shades of a product, I usually will keep the one or two maybe that I'm most excited about, and then I'll give the rest away. I kind of feel like I might need to hang on to all four of these, which sounds excessive, and no one needs four of the same lip oil, but maybe I do. I really don't know. I am just genuinely loving it. I feel like I've already made a very significant dent in the first shade that I tried, so they probably won't even last that long. Another one I'm obsessed with is the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Yummy Gloss. I actually have this one right here on my desk, and they also make a lip plumping version of these, which is so fun for like nights out and special occasions. I feel like you can't even go wrong with shades there. Like I don't have a particular recommendation because I feel like they're all awesome. And then one that I've been throwing in my bag lately that I tend to wear on days when I'm not doing like a full 3-part lip look is the Naturium lip balm. I have the shade Petal. And this one just feels really like soothing and nice to me, honestly. Okay, let's move on and discuss some skincare products now. So, as far as cleanser goes, we actually have 3 really great options here. First is the Glossier Milky Jelly Cleanser. This, say what you will about it, or I don't even know if anyone has anything to say about it. I don't know why I said that. But I just absolutely still love this product. The texture is unlike anything else. I feel like it always does a good job, and I am obsessed with it. I also really like the Versed Skin Soak Cleansing Balm. So I have a new tub of that ready to test and officially use. Versed recently did a bit of a rebrand, and they reformulated a couple of products. So I do have a few Versed products to mention today, some of which I have been able to try the new version of, others of which I have really liked in the past and have literally in my makeup cabinet, but maybe just haven't cracked open yet while I'm busy using up other products. But in general, Versed, I think as a brand, doesn't have any products over either $25 or $30. So they are just definitely a go-to for affordable skincare. But I do like the cleansing balm, especially if you have heavy makeup, like a full face of makeup. And I've even used the Versed cleansing balm for Halloween makeup before to get it off. So we definitely love that. And then another one is the Paula's Choice Extra Gentle Face Cleanser. I had this one in my shower a couple of months ago, and I just love basically everything Paula's Choice does. I love that they're fragrance free, they're non irritating, and that they're priced reasonably, especially considering I feel like they're very effective and powerful ingredients and formulas. So, this won't be the last Paula's Choice recommendation you hear in this episode. Okay, eye cream. I am currently obsessed with the Innisfree Bright Eye Serum. I believe this has caffeine in it. I love the applicator. It's a little tiny tube and it has a metal ball applicator on the end. It just feels so soothing and amazing at the end of the night to do a little pump and get that rubbed under the eyes. Oh my God, it feels like such a dream. And can I just say, I have been using this eye cream for, it feels like months now, like at least 4 months, maybe longer. I'm not out of it yet. And I've been using it every single night. The fact that it is under $25, that it makes it feel very luxurious, just like, I have like 80 and $100 eye creams in my bathroom right now. This one is still effective and giving me a full luxe soothing experience at the end of the night. Definitely a big fan of that one. And then speaking of Versed again, I have in the past really liked their Weekend Glow Brightening Eye Gel. It has recently been reformulated and I do have the new one ready to test. But as I just told you, the Innisfree one won't run out. Like it is kind of getting to the point now where I'm like, okay, I feel like I should be testing another eye cream, but I haven't run out of it yet. So we're stuck with each other for the moment. And I'm not mad about that. Okay, let's talk about eye masks. Similarly, this is one of the most cost-effective ways to have a little bit of self-care, a little bit of a spa moment thrown into your day. And it's so hard to go wrong with either the Pixie Beauty ones. They have a whole variety of, like, there's a Fortify, Nutrify, with I spelled EYE at the end. Very clever, Pixie. Thank you for that. Basically, all of those ones that come in the jar, you can't go wrong. Just pick your favorite. And then I also love these by Florence by Mills. This is one of the brands that I started reviewing on YouTube that really started growing my channel because I think people are just obsessed with Millie Bobby Brown. And I remember trying these under eye masks all the way back then, and I still love them. Get the ones that are called swimming under the eyes because they're shaped like little whales and they're so cute. Oh my God, they crack me up every single time. And to me, like so many of these eye masks kind of do the same thing. I have a hard time telling what the difference is. So if you're torn between like one of these options and ones that are $60 or more, honestly, get these and get the ones in a jar because it's so much less wasteful than the individually packaged ones. I really only use those when I'm traveling, and you get such a better value for your money when you buy the jar as well. That's actually the reason that I didn't end up buying the Summer Fridays eye masks from the Sephora sale this year. I was thinking about it, but it was $24 for 6 sets of eye masks. Oh my God, you guys, I just made an error. I was just looking up the Florence ones and I was going to be like, but it's only this for the Florence ones and they're fully $36. I apologize. Get the Pixie ones if you want the ones under $25. If you're looking for a little extra treat and you want to put tiny whales on your face, then go spend $36 on the Florence by Mills ones, but pretend I didn't say that. Okay, moving on to some serums. I actually just got the Ordinary hyaluronic acid. I've only used it once, but I have heard such great things about the Ordinary over the years, and clearly when it comes to price point, they are definitely a go-to for affordable beauty. If we're talking again about hydration, I really do also like the Glossier Super Pure. They have changed the packaging over the years. I'm not totally sure if they've updated the formula or not, but this is definitely one that I would repurchase from Glossier. So those two I would suggest for hydration. If you're looking for something to combat more like wrinkles and signs of aging skin, the Versed Gentle Retinol Serum is, I believe, $19.99. And again, this is a serum that I've tried from Versed before and that I really love. I do believe they've reformulated slightly and maybe even changed the name from when I last used it. But if you're looking for a gentle retinol that won't overwhelm you or strip your skin too much, I would definitely look that one up. Now, my first thought in my head when I wanted to put toner as a category was to suggest the Paula's Choice BHA toner. That is actually not under $25, but they just recently came out with these BHA toner pads that are travel friendly. They're like pre-soaked cotton rounds with the BHA formula on them. So this is my little workaround. So I can suggest that to you, and they are great for traveling, or you could throw it in your bag for after the gym. Any number of uses, really. Also, editing, Austen, if you're listening to this, remember to pack those for Italy. And then also the First Aid Beauty Facial Radiance Pads. These come in a couple of different sizes. So the one with 24 pads is under $25. And these I personally use first thing in the morning just to like set my face for the day. When it comes to moisturizers, again, the Versed Skin Soak Moisture Cream. I loved this when I first tried it. I believe they've just repackaged it and I have it ready to go in my Madison cabinet, my medicine cabinet. If your name is Madison, shout out to you. And then I also really like the Pond's Fresh Hydration Moisturizer. If you are a bit more oily, I want to say this is a gel cream formula. I use it as well for honestly just like before makeup and days where I want a bit of a lighter moisturizer. I feel like more of my heavier moisturizers did not fall under the price point, but I feel like that one is a really decent option just for every day. Speaking of Pond's, if we move on to the makeup remover category, their cold cream is under $10, I believe. And that I always use to do a first pass of my makeup, getting it a little bit scrubbed off. And then I'll get in the shower, rinse it off, and then I will double cleanse with a different cleanser. Nothing left behind with that combination. I also really do like the Glossier Milky Oil as a makeup remover. I find it really helps, especially with stubborn eye makeup. I just hate that it's the world's tiniest bottle. Like Glossier, we need a bigger size of this pronto. And then if you're in a pinch or if you're traveling, the Neutrogena makeup cleansing wipes are a classic and they are compostable now. So you can feel a little bit better about using them. This is definitely something that's coming with me to Italy, though. When it comes to spot treatments, the Hero Cosmetics pimple patches, they are under the $25 mark, and I feel like they also work the best. Like every time I use them, I feel like they truly are effective. For face oil, I just had one recommendation, which was the Pixie Jasmine Oil Blend. Oh my God, this is so soothing. I personally love the jasmine scent. To me, it's just a little bit softer, but it has the same calming effects as lavender. I don't know, for some reason, it just smells a bit more natural to me. I can't really explain it. Obviously, if you're sensitive to fragrance, skip this one, but if you're not, I highly recommend. When it comes to lips, once again, you know I really love a product when it's on my desk with me. So if you're watching on YouTube, I'm holding it up right now. It's the Laneige Lip Sleeping Mask. I put this on my lips every single night before I go to bed. It is here at my desk. I probably apply it a couple times a day just on autopilot without even realizing. It's $24. It lasts forever though, and I recommend the original berry lip mask. And then also for lips, I did want to briefly shout out there are some lip scrubs from Bath and Body Works. I can't remember the exact scent, fragrance, flavor that I've used in the past. But if your lips are really dry and you want to just give them a good scrub, I feel like the Bath and Body Works ones are just all reliable. Hopefully you got one as a stocking stuffer a few months ago, and as you're hearing this, you're like, great, let me go grab that and actually use it to just exfoliate lips before the summer months. Okay, and then talking about sunscreen here. Okay, so I do have one tiny exception, but it's only $26, so please hear me out. Don't turn this podcast off because I'm going off script here. But I have to tell you that the Paula's Choice Extra Care Non-Greasy Sunscreen is the best damn sunscreen that I've ever used. It's SPF 50, it's non-greasy, it's so lightweight, it blends easily. I have never once gotten a sunburn with this sunscreen, which I feel like is the most important thing. So I would really, truly recommend it. I'm sorry it's $1 over the limit here, but I could not mention it just because it is that good. And then if you are looking for a sunscreen rec under $25, like I told you this episode was going to be about, I am such a liar. That would be the Innisfree Daily UV Defense Sunscreen. I actually just was testing this product for a birdie story, and I really like this one. It blends out really nicely. It does look pretty white, but with the right amount of blending, I don't feel like it leaves a white cast. A lot of people were shouting out this sunscreen saying that it actually went great under makeup. I would say that maybe it wasn't my favorite, and I don't know if I was using the wrong combination of like that with the Bobbi Brown face base that I usually use over top of it. Maybe I should have tried a more lightweight primer or something. I don't know. But for days where I'm makeup free or I'm just at the beach or chilling in the park or running errands, I feel like that is definitely a new go-to for me. And let's wrap it up with a couple of hair recommendations. Now, I actually only have 3 here, so I didn't realize how much money my hair products actually cost. And again, I do get sent a lot of them for work, so keep that in mind. But I will say that when it comes to affordable shampoo and conditioner, I cannot recommend enough the V & Co shampoo and conditioners. They have a couple of different options as far as these formulas. So I personally have used and loved the straight shampoo for my straight hair, but they also do have curly and thick and wavy versions as well. And then I believe they also released some new iterations to more so target hair concern rather than hair type. So there's one for shine, I believe there's one for volume, and I believe there's one for strength, if I'm remembering correctly. But those are available at like Walmart, Amazon. I believe they're $8 each. So you can actually get a shampoo and conditioner for under $25. I mean, now that's what I'm talking about. And then as far as styling, I will always love and recommend the Tresemme Extra Hold Hairspray. I feel like this helps keep my hair curled and looking cute throughout the day. And then my last recommendation for getting the slick back ponytail hairstyle is the Tiggy Bedhead Wax Stick. I bought one of these, I think 3 or 4 years ago. Still have it. It's still kicking. I feel like it lasts forever. And it really does help slick your hair back and hold it in place. And here we are. We've arrived at the end of the episode. I really hope you guys found some good recommendations and some products that can hopefully work well for you. Let me know if you have a favorite product from the ones I've listed, or if you have any recommendations that I didn't mention in this episode that are under $25 that we all need to know about. Feel free to hit me up. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.